Okay, so I've been saying for more than a year now that whatever the truth of Donald Trump's criminality is, neither impeachment nor indictment nor removal on the basis of the 25th Amendment are reliable means for removing the president of the United States. The most likely and most efficient tactic to remove Donald Trump is to vote in November of 2020 and to have him out by January of 2021. That remains the case in light of what we know so far about Robert Mueller's report. Nothing surprising whatsoever. The problem is that it appears to me that Donald Trump is very, very quickly barreling towards re-election in 2020. It doesn't give me any joy to say it. This is not an I told you so thing in the sense that we've been saying the power of incumbency is important. Even when a president has a low approval rating, remember that half the country doesn't vote. You can win theoretically with an approval rating in the high 20s. And Donald Trump's approval rating has consistently been in the high 30s. Yes, Trump goes on these embarrassing Twitter rants indicative of total lack of self-control, of mental illness, of serious personality disorders. It doesn't matter, okay? Anyone who cares about that behavior is already not voting for Donald Trump, and most of his base doesn't care about that. And then when you consider that gas prices are generally pretty low, it's a silly metric, but it actually correlates to electoral success, particularly for presidential re-elections historically. Even though the economy we know isn't working for millions and millions of people, stagnant wages, although they've been trickling up a little bit, no health insurance for a ton of people, rising cost of living, massive inequality. Historically, when the unemployment rate is low, and it's low now, when inflation is low, and it's low now, incumbents get reelected regardless of party, whether or not they promise to pay off the debt but have actually grown it at record speed. It's not a voting issue. So this is a big picture analysis. This is not about Trump loving authoritarians. This is not about how the White House has been taken over by this swamp-filling, nepotistic kleptocracy that includes Trump's family. All those analyses are accurate, but this is the reality that if certain economic indicators are doing okay, short of a huge and visible economic downturn or scandal of the type that we've not yet seen actually damage Trump, he's likely to be reelected. There are a couple different models that look at this. One says Trump will win with 294 electoral votes if the economy more or less stays the way it is now. Others are closer. One is an even bigger blowout than that. So the one indicator that could actually lose Trump the election is not about money. It's not about wealth or economics. It's turnout. And I've been talking about this for a while, Pat. The one variable that goes beyond unemployment and gas prices or anything like that is turnout. Because if Democrats can get even a modest boost to turnout, that could be all it takes to remove Trump from office. And the reason why is that the election ultimately comes down to the results of a few key states, a few swing states, as we typically call them. Even a couple of percentage point boost to voter turnout for Democrats over Republicans in key states can change this from a Trump blowout to a Democratic win. So, Pat, I'm not saying Trump is definitely getting reelected. I'm not saying anything in particular about the Democratic candidates here. We're talking about them separately. What I am telling you is that the broader circumstances in which we find ourselves indicate that Donald Trump could well be barreling to a blowout reelection here.
Yeah, I would call Donald Trump the slight favorite at this point, although, of course, we don't know what the economic indicators will be a year and a half from now. Like you say, turnout is key. I think back in 2016, there was a lot of apathy. People thought Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, they're both so unpopular. I'm just going to stay home. I'm going to sit this one out. I don't think we're going to see that same apathy in 2020. I think people do understand there's a significant difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, especially a Republican like Trump. And I think people will go to the polls because the Supreme Court is important and immigration policy is important. And I don't think we want to go through this national embarrassment for another 4 years.
Well, we'll see. And for those who are either hoping for or betting on some kind of scandal at this point, can you even dream up a scandal big enough that would actually affect Donald Trump's base more than by a couple of points, which still just means that's a couple points that have to be made up by Democratic voters on the left. The base doesn't care. We can't wait for a scandal. We knew all along Trump's not going to be, perp walked in handcuffs by Robert Mueller. It was never going to happen. It's turnout. It's turnout, and it's ultimately going to come down to whether we get the vote out and get enough people to vote that it doesn't matter whether Trump's base gets out or not, because we simply have a bigger turnout and more voters. That's all it comes down to, and otherwise expect Donald Trump until 2024. One of today's sponsors is privacy.com/Pakman, which is a free service that I myself use. Really useful in many different ways. Takes just a few seconds to link your debit card to privacy.com. Then you can create virtual credit cards that are linked directly to your bank account, and you use those virtual credit card numbers to buy things online, which protects your actual debit card so that it's not spread all over the internet. And one of the best things about it is how their mobile app and browser extensions for Chrome and Firefox make it really easy to use. Let's say, for example, that I'm signing up for a David Pakman Show membership. In the credit card number field, I already see the privacy.com icon. I just click it, choose which of my virtual credit cards I want to use, and the credit card number, expiration date, and security code are automatically entered. I can put in any zip code I want, and I'm done. And if you try to use my credit card number that you just saw on the screen, it doesn't matter, because I've already deleted that virtual card, and that's the beauty of privacy.com. There are a ton of advantages to using a free service like this. For example, you can sign up for as many free trials as you want, then just delete the virtual credit card you used and never worry about getting charged for it. It protects you from getting hacked. It protects you when companies are hacked, which happens all the time. It is all completely free. All you have to do is click the link under this video to get started. And for a limited time, they're giving everyone in our audience $5 towards your first purchase when you sign up using that link.